Hi, everybody. Welcome to Paper Pumpkin. This month we are doing the kit called Sending Good Thoughts, and I think this is a good one. So let's go ahead and open it up. Oh, I didn't say I'm Brenda Miller, the Stamp It Up demonstrator. I forget that I'm actually recording this, so and you're on my site. But anyway, um, check out what's in here. This is a adorable little stamp set. I just love the little seahorse and the seaweed. So there are so many things that you can do with this. And there's another Thinking of You stamp. And I just think having as many fonts of Thinking of You is great for your collection. So anytime I see a Thinking of You, I'm happy. We have the lovely Bermuda Bay. Fun fact, this is my favorite Stampin' Up! Color. Has been since it came out. So that's a long time we've had Bermuda Bay. So I'm very excited to have another spot. And here's our little flyer talking about celebration. So if you haven't already heard, there are additional items now available for celebration. You can find them on my Facebook page and my Instagram in a previous post from earlier this week. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to contact me. Just direct message me. And then on the other side of our flyer is a little preview into next month's, which is the Sweet Sunflowers. And this, I think, is going to be a great set. Sunflowers are always so popular, and I can see from the big sunflower, it's very similar to a sunflower we had a few years ago. And boy, I played with that all the time. So I think this is going to be a great kit, and it comes with that special box, which is always nice to have. So anyhow, that is that. So let's go ahead and open our box. See what we have inside. As always, I'll throw my stuff on the floor. Okay, so this kit makes 9 cards, and we're just going to make one of each of the different designs. But it comes with the twine, which is always good to have, and some of our dots for adhesive. Comes with a full sheet of dimensionals, always good. It comes with the 9 envelopes, and you'll notice that this time they just have the plain white inside, but this color is Pool Party, and it goes really well. And you know how I often will cut these up and use it for different layers, and so this does come in handy. So anyway, and to use them as actual envelopes is always a good idea too. Then we have our card layers, and I want you to look at all of these carefully because each one of them is embossed. And I thought, boy, this is really great to have. You can see the stripes have, if you turn it over, you can see what the embossing is a little bit more. There you go, a little more clearly. So you can see that it just adds that dimension to the back. So those are our stripes. And then we have, this is an ocean scene, which I think is just so pretty. And it has the clouds up top and the water down below. And then we have, these are waves, and they can go up or down. I liked it this way with the ombre effect with the lighter color at the top of the fresh freesia. And we have some card bases. They are 3 different colors. Whoop, we're going to get to other things. So we have our fresh freesia, and we have some die cuts. So go ahead and make yourself a pile of die cuts off to the side, because they've been layering them inside in between the different card bases, and I think that's to help keep everything flat. And then this is a basic gray, so nice neutral color. And then we have some more die cuts for the stamping that we can do for labels. And we have some Bermuda Bay card bases, and of course the card bases have white inside, which is really nice to have. And then we have some more excellent die cuts. We've got some, is this coral and maybe an anemone, I don't know. I'm going to call it that. We have a starfish, and there's that lovely seahorse and some seagulls. Okay. So that's what comes in the kit. And don't forget to pull out your instructions from the other side. So here we go. And what I'd like to do is divide everything and make our piles for each card. And remember, we're just making one of each. So make some space here on my table. And we'll start with the first card. And this first card uses the gray, the basic gray base. Okay.
Yep.
And card number 2 uses the Fresh Freesia base. And card number 3 will use the Bermuda Bay. Okay. And then you can set the rest of those aside. For our layers, there's Sheila. Yay!
Yay.
So for our, let's give her a chance to get in. For our different layers, we have the stripes, and they go with card number 1. And the Fresh Freesia goes with the Fresh Freesias, keeping it monochromatic. And the Bermuda Bay uses the Ocean Sea. Okay, so that's what's over there. And then you can put the rest of those aside. Next, let's go ahead and pull out and separate everything that's on this sheet. Hi, Sheila, welcome.
Hi, just got here. Sorry I'm late.
It's okay, we just got started. All we're doing is separating our materials out. And right now we are up to taking the different pieces out of our die cuts. Excuse me, I need to speak to my friend over here, Jules. Okay, listen, you need to go. We'll find something to do. I'll come talk to you later, okay? Go. Okay, so we have our seahorse, and the seahorse goes with card number 2. You can see that. I love how this is, we're going to be able to see everything, hopefully. Okay, the coral, I don't know the right terms for this, even though I'm an aquarium lover. You know, ocean, I just never really learned the names of things. But anyway, I'm going to call this coral, and I'm going to put
I
that.
think that's what it is.
Yeah. So number 2, card number 2. I'm not going in the correct order. I'm going to take this seagull out because he's falling out. The big seagull, he goes with actually card number 3 over here. And then I'm going to take the anemone, or more coral, maybe, I don't know. And this one, it looks like that. That goes with card number 1. The starfish, which is so pretty, that goes with card number 2. And then the 2 other seagulls, they both go with card number 3. I love that our sheets are all perfect. We have everything we need to cut out on a single sheet for those little die cuts. Everybody good?
Yes.
Okay. All right, next, let's go to our labels. So the banner, long banner, goes with card number 3. Put that over here. And the circle goes with the Fresh Freesia. And you'll notice at the top, there's a little thin label at the top. And you're going to punch that out, and that goes to card number 1. Okay, how'd we do? Everybody good? Still punching out? Or we got it?
Go ahead. Keep going, Brenda. I'm okay.
Lois, you good?
I'm good.
Okay, all right, so the next one, let's punch out our bottles. Now, we have 3 different sizes of these bottles. The first one, which is the biggest one, that goes to card number 2. The middle one, which is the middle size, that goes to card number 3. And the little one, which is actually the bottle part without the stopper, is exactly the same size as the vintage bottle punch. So those of you who have that can actually, yeah, that could help you in maybe alternate cards that you might make. And that goes to card number 1. The big banner will go with card number 1 as well. Okay. And we already cut out our long thin one, so we can leave that in the case there. I love that they give us 4 of each of the sentiment strips, because we all know those sometimes can be a little tricky to get straight. Okay, and I think those are all the pieces that we need for each card. Trying to move things over. I gotta get my glasses on. So once we have all our pieces, go ahead and gather them up, keeping them together, and let's pull down card number 1. We'll start with that. So card number 1 is going to look like this, which is very fun. Do they show it vertically or on the side? So they actually show it this way. Sorry. So it's going to look like that. So I'm going to put that over here so you can keep your eye on it. And let's go ahead and do our stamping. So to do our stamping, we need our bottle. We need our banner. And we need our sentiment strip. Okay. And the 3 stamps that we're going to use, and I know you may not have multiple blocks, but these are the ones we're looking for. It's these little dots. You can see, to add a little bit of texture. This one uses the sentiment, can't wait to see you. And that. And then the third one is the roll of paper for that message in the bottle. We don't have to actually take a piece of paper and roll it up like we did in our other class that we did. All right, and as I always do, I'm going to use my big ink pad so I can give someone else my my little spot. That's what I end up doing with them all. So I'm going to start. You can do them in any order you want, but I'm going to use the rolled up paper and ink it up. So, and that goes in the bottle. And we have our little message in the bottle. For the little dots, these are just going in the corners of the banner. Just the top and bottom is what they did. Doesn't no real rhyme or reason, just to give a little extra texture. People are going to see these dots come again on another card. And I use them for some of my alternative projects as well. And then the word is going to get stamped onto the strip, and just note that there is a hole in the strip, and you want the hole, see, I almost did it backwards. The hole goes to the right. Okay. So those are the 3 things that we're going to stamp. And just let me know when you're done. I know I did it a little quickly because obviously I made some of these earlier. I made all of these earlier and I just kept them on the block so that I wouldn't have to futz with them. I'll futz with them later. So again, I think this is going to be a great versatile stamp set to have. It has lots of potential. And for those of you who are beachy, like me, I see lots of uses and coordination with the 3D embossing folder, which is currently on sale, these seashells, and the bundle or the coordinating dies and stamp set that go with it. So all of those things can work together, or you can just work with them by themselves, like we are here. How are we doing, girls?
Good.
Up? Are we done? Or if not, okay.
One more.
One more. Okay. Sheila's good because she came in late and she's already caught up. That's all.
Okay,
Puts me to shame.
okay.
Okay, awesome. So the next thing we're going to do is take 9 inches of the, that's what they suggest, 9 inches of the twine. That seems to be a lot, so I'm going to cut mine a little bit shorter, but only because I've done it already and know that it was a little long for what I needed. I'm just going to do about 7 inches myself because I can always use extra twine. So again, there's that ruler on the edge of the paper, should you want that, or you have a ruler on hand, which I do as well. You can just use that. And what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this twine around the bottle. So let me show you. I'm going to go around once and then back up again. Okay, so it crosses in the back. And then the easiest way that I found to do this, of course, I need to give myself a little bit more on one end here. Correctly. So go around, and then I'm going to just tie a knot. And then I'm going to, when I say a knot, I'm just going to tie it just to secure it. You can make it an actual knot if you want, but I'm just doing it the once around. But then I'm going to take my sentiment strip and I'm going to thread it through and then tie my bow on top of that. And when I tie my bow, I am going to tie a knot first, a full knot. So once, and then once again. So that way, as I'm trying to futz with my loops, it'll be okay. And it's very forgiving and you can move it around. This is where maybe I should have kept my extra ribbon. I did get my nails done today, so they're not as long as they were this morning when I made the original card. A little bit harder and a little bit easier at the same time. So they tied a bow. That is what I'm trying to do. I'm not succeeding. One more time. Always the hardest part, right, girls?
Always.
Bows. A lot of complaints about that. Sheila, are you a bow person or not?
No, I have big fingers, so it's hard to tie a little bow.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. Only a few of my customers are really good bow tiers and enjoy them. But anyway, that's what we're going for. Probably should have kept it the 9 inches. See?
Yeah, I did 8 and it's still not quite.
Felt too hard. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe poor advice. There we go. Okay. I got mine. It took a while, but I knew I could do it. I knew it. All right. So now I have my little bow on my bottle. So we set that aside and then we can assemble the card. So did you girls get your bows done?
Yes.
Yeah, it took me a really
Yep.
long time. Sorry. Okay, so now let's take our card base, fold it in half. Give it a good crease with your scoring bone. Then we're going to take the striped base and they put it on the card with dimensionals. So let's go ahead and do that. I put my dimensionals right here. Here we go. So I am using up old sheets because I put them at every station when I do my card classes. So I always have partial sheets lying around. And they used 5, which I think is a good number for a full card front. And then you just center that on the card, leaving that usual 1/8 of an inch all the way around. That's a good dimension on this card. Next, we'll take the banner and using regular adhesive. Now, of course, I'm going to use my snail just because I'm not going to deal with those little dots. But if that's all you have, obviously, that's what you'll do. But if you have other adhesive, you can save those dots for other projects. That's what I do. And they put it a little bit off center to the right. So that's what that looks like. A little bit off the center. Ooh, got to bring over. So if you have a silicone mat, it will be helpful, or you could use the little glue dots, whatever works for you. But I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive in the center behind the anemone, or whatever. I just like to say anemone. It always makes me think of Finding Nemo, and I'm gonna anemone, anemone. Took a long time before he figured that out. God, that's just one of my favorite movies.
My daughter's favorite movie to this day.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I'm particularly partial to Finding Dory as well.
Yes.
That has some fun parts that have good memories for me. So, anyway. All right, I got to tell you the story about Finding Nemo. I'm sorry, Finding Dory. Lucas and I were going to visit colleges, and we were in DC, and I went in the circle, around the National Mall, I guess, there's a big, traffic circle.
Mhm.
And I needed to get over to one side, and I wasn't far enough to the right to get out. So I kept going, and he was 17 and had just gotten his license, right? He's like, "What are you doing?" Because I just kept going. I'm
Yeah.
like, "It's a circle. You just go around. You can come back." Like, he didn't understand traffic
No, that's
really
funny.
at all. So it was really funny. So I took him around the circle, and we got off where we needed to go. And so that night we went to see Finding Dory, and there's a scene in Finding Dory, and she gets to a circle and she goes around and around and around and around the circle. And it was just so funny that it was the
That's
same
funny.
day. It was just out a few
That's
hours
crazy.
later. Oh my God. So it's just one of those things,
Yep.
Please remember it. Here's
That's fun.
a 17-year-old going to see Finding Dory with his mother.
Aw,
So
those are nice memories.
I know, right? So I had to share that. Okay, anyway, our anemone is down. And then we're going to take our little bottle and we're going to adhere that with a dimensional. They just used 1, but I think I would use 2. And they were smart. They put 1 to cover up where the twine is. And bow isn't great, but they just put that down on here. Now, if you want, like mine is popping back, I'm going to also put a little piece of dimensional underneath the label so that it kind of stays. Just a little piece. See, I just cut it off. And I'm just going to put it over here to make it stay. And there we have it. I love the colors, right?
Yeah.
I would
Great.
never have thought to put Bermuda Bay with fresh freesia. So that was one thing that I learned. I love Bermuda Bay and any of the blues really. But Fresh Freesia was a new one for me. Super fun.
Very cute.
I like it.
Yeah, me too. Thanks. All right. Moving on to card number 2. It's going to look like this. And, you know, when I think about, you know, what they did with this kit, we have tons of pieces and you just, any way you throw them down, they're going to look good. They all look good together. They're all beachy. They all, you know, they all go together. So that is what we're shooting for. So let's go ahead and take our items to stamp. And we only have 2 on this card. We have our label and our starfish. And I love that they gave the starfish a little bit of dimension by using that same dotted stamp. Because if you think about it, that's what's, I mean, starfish aren't usually blue when I see them, but still they have those little bumps, scales. I don't know what you call them. You really need to do some aquatic learning, aquatic animals. So they just stamp that right kind of in the middle. You could do anything you want. You could do the whole thing, I guess, or not. And then this one has this great sentiment, wishing you all the best. And so you could use this for anything, anything. And it's such a great combination of fonts. There you go. Wishing you all the best. Just love it. All right, so that's all the stamping and the rest is just assembly. So as we did before, we're going to fold our cardstock, give it a good crease. It's not cardstock, it's our card base. That's what I meant to say. And then again, we're going to use dimensionals. And we're putting this has the ombre effect. So we're putting the light color at the top. So it's going to the dark color as it goes down. I guess in theory, it could go the other way, but I don't usually see it that way. So 5 dimensionals on. These cards come together so quickly.
They're so pretty though.
Yeah, and they're really pretty. They've been doing such a good job lately with these kits. Every month I like it more than I like the last one.
Well, I'm partial to beachy anyway, so.
Right. Yeah, I knew I was going to love this one. And I know I'm going to love the next one because I love sunflowers too.
Yeah.
Like they got me coming and going. So
Method to their madness.
that's right. That's right. Oops, I forgot. We did have one more thing to stamp. I apologize. I missed it. Wasn't thinking. We're going to put some seaweed or seagrass. Now we're putting it inside the bottle, but it's really supposed to look like it's behind the bottle, right? It's a clear bottle, so it's showing through. I'll give you another second to do that because that wasn't very nice of me to forget that. Stay on top of these things.
The only kit I didn't like was that one with the animals.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think they try to throw in one with a children's theme each year, you know, or like a younger theme, if you will, trying to appeal to everybody. But yeah, that wasn't my favorite, but we found ways to use it. So, yeah. Okay. We also need to tie some twine around the neck of the bottle. And this time they also used 9 inches. I'm gonna eyeball it. This one doesn't need a bow, so I'm not getting so excited about it, but I'm just gonna take it, wrap it around. This one, they tied it off to the right side. So, and they just made a knot. I think I saw other people when I was looking at samples and things that people were doing with it. They made like fancy. They did a knot like this at the top. And then they were coordinated more than I, and they tied a knot towards the bottom as well. So I'm going to put another knot in mine this time.
How many times did you wrap that, Brenda?
I just wrapped it around twice.
Okay.
You can see. So it just crossed in the back. And I'm going to twist it a little too to get it to go together, right? Like a little like rope. A little bit more. Okay. So once we have that, I'm going to go ahead and put it down. Let me just check to see if they just use regular adhesive to get it to lay down, and they did it a little bit on an angle. Again, I'm just using my regular adhesive to do that. Looks like that. Okay. Right. And then we're just going to add the other elements. So next I'm going to add our coral. And this one's really easy. The widest part is right at the bottom. So I just put a little adhesive right there. Done. And that's enough to keep it holding. So they put that off to the, at the very bottom, but to the left side. The rest of the elements, they used a dimensional on the back of each. You can use, I just use one on the back of the circle. I'm going to put that down. One amazingly fits right in the center of the starfish. Just enough space there. It's always good. And then the wonderful seahorse. So when I was doing this card last night, it got me thinking about seahorses and how interesting they are. So I had to look them up online and where can I go to see seahorses? And you know, I just went a little crazy, and I really am into aquariums lately. So this is awesome. So it turns out that I'm going to New Orleans at the end of this month to our backstage, our leadership conference.
Right.
And they have an aquarium there, and there is a whole exhibit for seahorses. I was so
Oh, love it.
excited. I was
I
like,
love horses.
totally, I know, totally gonna go. So I had a whole conversation with my husband about we're gonna go and how do they swim, and you know, we did all. Wikipedia is a beautiful thing. I just looked it up, and it told me all these wonderful things about seahorses, and now I'm going to actually get to see them in person. Yep, and we're going to go, and it's only the aquarium's only open Thursday through Sunday, so we're there. He's with me. We get there on Tuesday, but really Wednesday and Thursday. So we're going to go on Thursday. We already have that on our agenda, so very excited.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's the little things in life.
Absolutely.
That's what I did for my birthday this year. We went to the Camden,
Yeah, I remember.
the Camden Aquarium.
And no, he's seahorses in Camden?
I didn't see any seahorses. I don't remember seeing seahorses. They may have been there and I didn't know to look for them at the time. We were very interested in the hippos because it's the only aquarium that has hippos. Hippos are usually in zoos, even though
Yes.
their time in the water.
Right.
Yep. there's a fun fact on that too, if you don't mind me being a little crude. The reason that is because hippos poop a lot.
Ah,
Hard to clean the water and
Oh,
to be able to see through the water. So we did
right.
a behind the scenes tour and we were filled in on all that information. They're amazing though. They're enormous and they eat like 400 pounds of food a day or something crazy. So obviously it's got to come back out. So anyway, that's why they're usually in zoos and not in aquariums. So, okay, that's it for that card. You're getting so much more than just a little paper
no
pup.
kidding. I feel so much smarter already.
So much information. Who knew?
Awesome.
So the last card is this one. Adorable, right? Can't get
Mhm.
much cuter than this. So, so we are stamping this one. We're really only stamping two things for reals. And the first thing is the ship. And what a great idea, ship in a bottle, right? I will tell you that when you go to line it up, this is one of those situations where I learned my lesson. Whoa, there must be a animal outside. They're going a little crazy over here. Excuse us. When you go to stamp it, you want to let the ship be in the water a little bit, and I'll show you. Because it doesn't look as good. I just thought I was lining it up on top of the water, but really it needs to go into the water a little bit to really get perfect stamping. See that? And that's what you're shooting for. You can see on my original, I have a little gap there because I didn't line it up quite perfectly. These things happen. So we're doing the ship in the bottle. And then we're using the stamp that says sending good thoughts, just like the kit name. And we want to make sure when we do that, that the banner end is to the right. And we want to stamp on the right side of the label so that we have room for our fancy seagull to sit on top of it on the left side. All right. So the very first thing we're going to do for this is we need to wrap our twine all the way around the card and tie a bow. Easier said than done. And this, they suggest 21 inches of twine. And the ruler is only 18 inches long. So you need to do an extra 6 inches. Oh no, 21, extra 3 inches. Okay, here we go. 24 on the brain. 24 is the amount of the number of downline that I make cards for to send out. So I've been definitely doing a lot with the number 24. And this is getting tied with a bow. The bow is on the left-hand side of the card. Now, I very rarely do this, which is wrapping anything all the way around a card. I just find it to be a little wasteful. But when you're working with twine, you kind of have to. It's a little hard to try to do some of the cheats that we do that help
Yeah.
save ribbon.
Ah,
Yeah. So what I like to do is I find out where I want to put it, and it actually is a little bit forgiving. And then I'm just going to tie the knot. Remember, I did this before. So I tie the knot so that it stays in place. Okay. And then I tie my loops. Because I find I end up having it too loose and it just doesn't look right. do it this way. Now, the good news is, even if it's a little loose, and even if it's not perfect and it's sideways, that's okay, because we're actually covering almost all of it. Okay, so you can see if you don't like where it is, you can move it up, you can move it down, you can move it over. It's very forgiving. So I'm going to suggest next to put our label on, and the label goes on with dimensionals. Where did they go? They're there. You can just, you can put a few. I'm actually going to use my edges because I'm down to the end anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and put little strips of my edges. That is more than I need, but it's just easier that way. And then we want it to cover the bow and have a little bit coming out the right side. Okay. And once you do that, everything's going to stay in place. Okay. Makes it much easier. And having that bow just gives a little bit of extra dimension, I guess, or a little extra zing to the card. And that's going to go on your card front. Obviously, we had to do the ribbon around first, and to get it where we wanted it before we could adhere it to the front of the card. But once you have that, then you can go ahead and put it down.
Not with dimensionals this time?
Actually, you can use dimensionals. Yep. I just, for whatever reason, I didn't on this card, and I didn't again either. But yes, they do. They have it with dimensionals. Why I didn't do it? Wasn't thinking.
I'm a little bit behind, Brenda. Did the sending of thoughts go on with dimensionals?
Yes.
Okay.
They went on with dimensions. That went on with dimensionals. And I put it right over the twine so that it would all stay in place.
Right. Okay.
Once you have that, then we're going to go ahead and with regular adhesive adhere the bottle. And just put one line. And they did it so that it's just a little bit under the label. So.
I'd like an embossing folder like this.
I know, me too, right? It's beautiful. When you're ready, we're going to just put the larger seagull on with regular adhesive, adhering it right to the label. Oops, I did this before too. It's going to stand up straight, you know. We don't want any leaning over. Trim my twine a little bit. You can kind of see the bow coming through. And the other seagulls, I just think, look at the detail on this. I mean, I just think they look so pretty. They're like perfect. You know, they don't have like an outline edge, but they get adhered with dimensionals. So I'm just going to use just little edges again. It's easiest for me at this point. Like we always say, we want to make sure we use our edges too. No reason to waste them.
Absolutely.
which is,
And the shape of them come in very handy.
yes, right? You can make it really any way you want too. And we have our birds flying and our birds sitting. There we have it.
Nice.
Yeah, so just really fun. Easy peasy. So you can crank out the rest of them very easily. So for the alternatives, I went with, sometimes I try to do a whole bunch of them. This time there were a lot of cards that were out there that were basically the die cuts all just thrown on. Also, when I made my samples, I used, so I only have 5 samples. So I went with the theory of, better quality, not quantity. So the first one to show is really using two different of the card. So I have the stripes in the background, and then this was the water cut in half, just the bottom part cut in half and then laid down as strips. And then just the coordinating colors. I just thought that was a great card. I don't remember who I stole that from, but that's one. And again, just kind of putting everything down and using different pieces. They all go together. So that was kind of a fun card, using the message in the bottle. This one, the idea came from Mary Fish. Hers looks very different than this, but I like the way that she cut up the paper in the back and just layered it all on. I think she had a gem of some kind, but I didn't have the right color somehow, which is hard to believe. But
I like that one.
yeah, isn't this great?
Yes.
It's a really,
Like the little starfish too. They're cute.
yeah, right. Yes, and that is one of the stamps, that little stamp.
Yeah.
And then, so now we get to the really good ones. Check out that.
Ooh.
Is a shaker card. So it was just so perfect. And you see in the background there is just
Mhm.
the envelope, right? I stamped a little on it. And these are our cute little effervescent elements. And yeah, just the regular pieces. So we cut a hole in the middle and use a window sheet and some foam tape. That was it. So
Nice.
together really easily. It's very fun. And this one is from Rachel Tessman. Check out what she did.
Ooh.
Look at that. Sailing.
Is that like the penny thing, or is that just?
Not. Okay, so let me show you. So what I did was I cut two lines with an X-Acto knife. And then I took a thin strip of paper that fits behind here. And I meant to bring one over, but I'm just going to take a Post-it note. Gonna give us a strip of paper. And what I did was I threaded it through. You can actually.
Okay.
So go.
And then adhered the boat to it.
That, yes. And so what I did was you fold it over and you fold it again. And so that you make this little like thing for it to sit on. You adhere that closed. Okay. And then you put the boat on there. And then on the back side, you put the adhesive on this strip on the back and adhere it to your label. You just have to kind of line it up. But
Very cute.
yeah, isn't that
Wow.
fun? And she did a much better job, of course. She layered it differently and she thought ahead and punched the bottom as well as the top. But yeah, I didn't think of that until it was too late. So, and hers, I think, was a little bit more secure, but I actually kind of like it, that you make it go like,
Yeah. It's adorable.
yeah.
Wow. Clever.
Yeah, isn't that fun? She put some gems around, but I figured you would get the point, but that was
Mhm.
just a clever use of the boat the ship. So.
Yep.
Anyway, so those are my alternative samples today. So quality over quantity.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
Because a lot of the things I saw looked like very similar.
right. Yeah, because it was just like the elements just plop down,
Yeah,
which
Yeah.
just goes to show that that's all you really need to do is just take the elements and put them down and you can make great cards, you know. I do have still quite a few pieces left, so quite a few die cuts left, so I can make some more cards, but I was out of bases and I really like the backgrounds that they had. So yeah, so I think you can have fun making up the rest of it, or
very good. Thank you.
so I will post these photos on, I'm gonna put them in the comments on my Facebook page so that people can see them, and this video will be up there. Because I'm trying to let other people see paper pumpkin ideas, and hopefully that maybe some more people will join us next time.
Awesome.
Yeah, so next time is the sunflower one. It's the first Thursday in September. And so I will see you girls though next week, right? Actually, Sheila, you're going on vacation, right?
Yes, yeah.
Are you doing anything fun?
We go to Disney every August.
Oh, wow.
There's an event, a merchandise event in Epcot that we always go to. So,
Oh, very fun.
yeah,
Yeah, well, that's exciting. So
it is.
we'll miss you at class next week. Lois,
Thank
are
you.
you around or are you away?
No, I'm around.
Yeah. Is it thundering?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't expect that. So-
No, I know. I was like, what?
Oh, wow, not here.
And now?
I guess it's coming this way.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to walk the dog, so we'll see what happens. So anyway, thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you,
Sheila, have a
ladies.
great vacation. And
Thanks.
I'll
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Brenda, could you stay on after you stop the recording? I just want to ask you a quick
Okay,
non-stamping
no
question.
problem. All right, good night.